Okay, I wanted to make a video about these wheels that I have in front of me. These are Enkei WMD or WDM 18s. They were a super pain to take off because I feel like they were a bit over tightened by the shop that worked on them. You know how it's done by those impact wrenches and stuff. And then the second thing is, it doesn't make it easy that you can DIY at home, given that none of the impact sockets would fit in this. So here's something I want to show you to illustrate what's happening here. These are the 17s. I want to turn the flash off to show you what's happening here. But you can see how thin-walled they are. And if I go to fit them in, and they have a fitment of 5 by 20 and I believe 5 by 14 something. So they work on most BMWs and Hondas. But here's what I'm talking about. So you see how that goes in there, and there's very little wiggle room in there. And I bought this impact socket set and none of them fit in there. So my only options were to then find thin-walled deep impact sockets. So that's a very hard thing to find, and I found one on Amazon which was I want to say about 35 bucks a piece. So I contacted Enkei. I said, hey, do you have any tips for me? And their response was your SOL. So that's some pretty poor customer support, and they said this is something that the installer should have taken care of and blah blah blah. But I don't think so, because by the time you're done putting your nut in there, you can't find any 17 mil socket that actually would fit. So here's something else to illustrate my point. So you see this thing with a 3 by 8 to half inch reducer, and it sits in like this. This is a pretty bad idea, because by the time you start twisting this thing, chances are the piece right over here, this piece is gonna break off into that piece there, and then you're stuck drilling things out and making your life a whole lot worse. So to me, this seems like pretty poor design. I'm not saying these wheels are crappy or whatnot, because it looks like the prior owner used them in some pretty good winter conditions, or he drove the crap out of them. But the point is, these things and deep socket, none of them things work unless they're thin-walled, and that for DIY projects makes it very hard, unless you want to spend 40 bucks on a single socket.